Hey, what's up guys? I'm Rob Richards here at the world famous Gold Gym in Venice, California. You're joining me today for my shoulder workout, with the focus being on the three main deltoid heads: anterior, medial, and posterior. If you haven't already, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out all our past, current, and future videos that are coming soon. And also check me out on Snapchat. You can see all of the exercises, nutrition, pretty much of my life happening as it unfolds. So let's get started on the first exercise. So first exercise, seated military press. This is a great exercise for me to start off. It's a compound movement, so I'm working more than one joint. And even though I'm not lifting as heavy as I have done, I'm still gonna progressively build up the weight every set by about 10-15% on each working set. My rep range is, I still wanna hit 10 reps, but I'll drop down to as low as 6 on that final one. And a few pointers here. You can see I've pretty much got my elbows forwards on this one. For me, I feel that works more of the front deltoid better. It's a great stretch, works that medial deltoid, the kind of the middle section of the shoulder as I lower that bar down. You can see I'm not resting the bar at all, nor am I pausing. I'm keeping what I call a constant loop within the rep. Nice and smooth, fluid movement. I press up, I flex the delts. I'm not locking out the arms, I'm not resting the weight up at the top, and then I'm controlling that weight down, resisting it from falling, slowing it at the bottom, not resting it on my chest. So I've got that constant loop going within the rep. This is another reason why I don't go too heavy. I think I went up to about 45-pound plate on each side and repped out at about 8 reps. But by keeping that constant loop going, it's constantly stressing and keeping tension on the muscle. So really good warm up on that one. 3 to 4 working sets. And as you saw, a couple of kind of warm up exercises too, working the rotator cuff with some light plates and then some lateral raises. Speaking of which, that's what we're going to go on to now. Start to focus more on the independent deltoid heads and focus on each working set with one of those heads. Let's go. Great little combo here, working with some bent over rear delt flies with dumbbells, supersetting that right into some rear delt cable flies. Reason I do this, emphasis being on the rear deltoid, often the muscle that gets left behind in the shoulder workout. Think about this, a lot of the chest exercises that we do, a lot of the shoulder-based movements, it's always the front and the medial section of the shoulder that gets involved the most. The rear only really gets worked when we're extending the arms back, pulling a weight, or doing some form of exercise, possibly behind the neck, where to a greater degree they get involved. So a few tips on this one. Starting with the dumbbell rear flies, you want to get nice and low. Bend over so that your chest, your upper torso, is pretty much parallel with the floor. Nice straight back, keep the chest lifted up so that you're not arching, and keep the arms fixed. You can see I've got a slight bend in the elbow, but I'm not bending the arm, or at least much when I lift that weight up. Should be a flying movement outwards, leading with your elbows. Elbows directly up. We're not moving the weights further or closer to our body. We keep that position fixed. All in the rear delts, having to raise that weight up. So if this is an unfamiliar exercise to you, don't go too heavy. Keep the weights to about 15-20 pounds. Feel the burn, get the movement right, and then move on. We then moved on to a cable rear delt fly. This is a really great exercise that keeps tension constant on that muscle, which is why I like to superset it with a free weight type movement. Same principles apply. We're going to keep the arm fixed and focus that rear delt on contracting and pulling our arm backwards. So on this one, keep one leg kicked back, keep the chest up, stand nice and tall, and let all that movement originate from the rear deltoid. Perform it single arm, or like me, both arms together, or vary it up, bend over, put the cable pulley on the lower setting, and pull the weight from underneath you. Lots of different variables that we can use to train the rear delts, and often one of these things I'll switch up within each workout. All right, let's move on, start to focus more on the medial deltoid now with 2 other superset exercises. So another superset here, starting with dumbbells, supersetting with the cables. Same premise as before. Focus being on that medial deltoid head, trying to keep everything in that lateral plane of movement. What can I say here? Keep the elbows slightly bent and fixed again. Try not to rock too much. So maybe the weight was a little bit too heavy there for me, but I still want to try and get a solid 8 to 10 reps with a good enough resistance where I'm failing by that 9th or 10th rep. Once I failed, then I move over to a similar movement actually with dumbbells, but a full range of motion. So I'm failing with your typical standard lat raise. As soon as I've reached my point of failure on there, drop to a weight that's about 1/3 of that. And really just for the movement, a full range all the way up. I bring some of the traps into this movement when I come higher than the actual shoulder line. 8 to 10 reps on there. Leaves me really depleted, and then I can go onto the cables. You can see I've got one hand, I'm leaning out, a lot more tension is then placed on that medial delt head, and again just trying to get that long sweep, control it back down, keep that loop going. I'm not jerking the weight up and allowing the weight to fall down, nor am I letting the weights ever touch. So it's important to keep tension on the muscle and really squeeze and flex that particular muscle at the top of each and every rep. 3 sets here, did about 8 and 12 reps on there with cables, a little bit higher. Now we're going to move on, finish off this delt workout with focus on the front deltoid. So let's go check it out. Oh. Final superset here, focus being on the front delts. No surprise there. Dumbbells worked independently on this time. So you can do this on any of those exercises, rear delt, the medial, or the front delt. Work them isometrically, independently, with cables, with dumbbells, even barbells. Lots of different variables on every workout that I do. So final superset here, front delt seated, which keeps me a little bit more stabilized. I'm not rocking backwards and forwards. So I've dropped the weight down, trying to keep that strict form and get my hands just a little bit higher than the actual shoulder level. Bring some traps into that movement as well. And I'll superset that with some underhand grip, front bar raise. So still working the front delts here, a little bit of the rear delts activated. Again, bringing that up higher than my shoulder level. We're doing about 12 reps and 12 reps, supersetting them both. A great alternative for this one is cables as well, like I did on the 2 previous supersets. Having a bar, cable under your legs, pulling out, or with a rope bending over. Like I said, lots of different variables to work the same muscle, just in different ways. All right guys, pretty much wraps up today's workout. 4 basic exercises, 3 of which were superset with other exercises that still stress and overload that particular muscle. So just to recap, we started on the seated military press, focus moved to the rear delt, medial, then the front. This workout's taken about 45 minutes, so pretty quick moving through all of those body parts. All I can say is follow me for my next workout, subscribe to my channel, check out all of my past videos, collaborations in the kitchen, behind the scenes on photo shoots, and stay connected with me on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. I'm out there on all of it. So see you guys back here next week. Keep training hard, stay focused, and just remember this. It's taken me about 15 years to get from where I started to where I am now. And for me, it's just about bettering and improving myself. If you're just starting out and you're looking at me or anyone else out there on magazines or from YouTube, realize that they've taken years to get to where they are. If you're starting out, it's like a marathon. Keep doing the same thing, progressing, learning, watching everyone. It will come. It just takes time, like I said. So stick at it. All right, guys, I'm gonna go back to eat. See you guys back here soon.